other people also can follow, so that like it will be a repetition, but it will give you clarity. So currently we have only one particular screen called patient registration. So in patient registration itself, if you enter the details of a patient, if the details are matching with the UMID database, then it will complete the registration. If the details are not matching, automatically it will redirect to a temporary registration page. So that was happening through this particular screen called patient registration. Now, for the reasons to keep this system little tighter, to bring in more accountability, we have bifurcated the temporary registration process or non-UMID registration process and changing of the patient category into two different processes. So we have another screen called non-UMID patient registration. I will explain what will happen, what has to be done there. Then we will also have a change patient category as a separate menu. So we need to give access to these two processes to a specific nominated people only. So from Monday onwards, whoever all the registration clerks who are using the registration module now, they will not be able to do anything for the temporary registration. They can only do the registration for the existing UMID users. For other than UMID users, they cannot do anything. So for that reason, now the nodal persons of each hospital have to communicate which users needs to be given access to these particular new screens, non-UMID patient registration and change patient category screen. So Monday onwards, there won't be this process in the registration page. So before that, please mail the details of the registration clerks, whoever you want to give access to. Before Monday, we need to receive, and accordingly, we will configure their roles. Now, before we go into the processes, let me just briefly explain what are all the categories existing or involved in the non-UMID related categories. In UMID, broadly what we have now is an employee, a pensioner, and a dependent. Only these three categories are right now covered in the UMID. But now we are coming up with a UMID second version, where we will be generating UMID cards even for the coolies, quasi-employees, union employees, RPF, GRP users who have subscribed to railway health services. So these all categories will also get the UMID card. So, but till they get the UMID cards, we need to facilitate a temporary registration process. So for that process, we have all these categories which can be facilitated under the temporary registration. So in non-UMID categories, you have temporary registration employee, where an employee who does not have a UMID card, but it is satisfactorily understood that this employee is covered under the railway health scheme. So in that case, they will have to be given a temporary CR number through this category. Accordingly, we will also have a temporary registered pensioner. Then we will also have a temporary registered family members, either a family member of an employee or a pensioner. So these are the three categories where the existing employees, pensioners, or family members who do not have a UMID card, they will get the temporary CR numbers. Then apart from that, these are like train passengers, apprentices, Ayushman Bharat, PMJAY. So these are all other categories are also there. So as per medical attendance and treatment rules, train passengers who are like during the course of like accidents or something, so they are entitled for a free medical services. So in that case, in those situations, you can do a temporary registration for that patient who is a train passenger by indicating that they belong to this category, so that they will be eligible for some free services. Accordingly, apprentices are also like entitled for some free services during the if you go through the medical attendance treatment rules, it is clearly laid down in what circumstances apprentices are eligible for free medical services. Only during the injuries in the workplaces during the work, they are eligible for free medical services. So you need to get completely satisfied to add this patient category for that patient. So you have to completely be aware what are the rules existing for them. Then accordingly, you also have a very big category which is called Ayushman Bharat PMJAY. So people who are covered under the Ayushman Bharat uh, Pradhan Mantri Jana Arogya Yojana, those who are below the poverty line, they are entitled for free medical services in uh, empaneled hospitals, like any hospital which has been onboarded on PMJAY, they are supposed to give free treatment to those patients. If those patients are admitted in this hospital, we have to give the treatment completely at free of cost. But however, the bill has to be reimbursed, and it will be reimbursed by the Ministry of Health to Ministry of Railways. So that billing process and all will be a separate thing. So that will happen separately. But however, if you want to create a temporary ID for those kind of beneficiaries, you have to choose this category. Then there are like other eligible categories, which, as I already told, that it will be consisting of coolies, luggage porters, licensed porters, GRP employees. There are like many categories actually. Just to for your clarity, let me just elaborate on this. The GRPA, I said, licensed porters. Then there are like private servants of the employee. They are also entitled for free services. So those categories also will come. Then whole-time employees of zonal recognized unions federations. So union employees who are then we have a like quasi employees. In quasi employees, what kind of categories will come? So consumer cooperative societies, staff benefit fund committees, railway institute, railway officers club, station committees, statutory canteens of Indian Railways. So the employees who are deputed to these kind of institutions, they are called quasi employees. So they are also entitled for some services. So accordingly, you have to choose them. So for that, you need to completely understand which category is covered for which services. So accordingly, you need to indicate these categories. Now let us come into the processes which explains about the non-UMID registration. So this is the existing screen where when you do a UMID based registration, so in the existing patient registration, which is now renamed to UMID based registration. So in UMID registration, when you enter, say, some Aadhaar number or PF number or what, any number, if that number is not matching with the UMID database, then it will show you this kind of a alert message here. So this alert message indicates that this patient is not a valid beneficiary as per the UMID database. So they have to do a temporary registration. So normal registration clerk will not have access to this temporary registration. So he will redirect that patient to go to, say, a particular counter where the registrations are done, temporary registrations are done. So he will go there, and then they will access the other screen, which is called non-UMID registration. So those registration clerks who have access to non-UMID patient registration, they will click on it, and after that they will be able to see this particular screen. So in this screen, it is a kind of a, it is not connected to UMID or anything. So it is a open-ended kind of form where you have to indicate that patient has come to which department, which unit he wants to go, and then the patient demographic details like patient name, age, date of birth, gender, then the address related information and mobile number. So these are the important information, demographic details that has to be entered, and then the patient category has to be chosen here. So if the patient who has come is belonging to an employee and he does not have a UMID card, then the category which has to be chosen is temporary registered employee. If it is a pensioner, then it will be temporary registered pensioner. So likewise, you have to select the patient category and then click on the save button. So after that, a CR number gets generated, a slip will be printed for them, and that CR number will be valid only for 30 days. So this is the guideline given by the coordination committee. So accordingly, we are confining that validity for 30 days only. So what happens if the same patient comes again after 30 days? That will be covered in the next process, which is called change or renewal of category. So a patient category can change over a period of time. So an employee can become a pensioner, a dependent can become an employee. Okay, and there can be many scenarios. So whenever a category has to be changed, so you need to enter the CR number here, and after that the patient details will come in the bottom, and you have to indicate the patient category here. So right now he is like a temporary registered employee. It will show the category, existing category of the employee. If you want to continue the same thing, like it is a temporary registered employee and his validity expired after 30 days. So again, you want to renew it. So in that case, you will again select the same category and then you indicate the reasons that this patient requires an extension of the validity for a satisfactory reasons, whatever you will indicate here. And then you click on the save button. So his validity of a temporary CR number gets extended for another 30 days. So this can be done any number of times, but whenever you do it, it comes with so much of responsibility because everything can be tracked and it becomes accountable for everyone. So while you do this, before that you need to do certain things. You have to check the details of the patient. So this is a icon here. There is another icon here. So if you click on it, you will get more information of the patient. So like here you can see, if you click on the see previous log information, if you click on it, it will show the entire history of that patient, that when this CR number was generated, who has generated it, and at the time of generation, what was the category it was having, and from which category to which category it has been modified. So all that information it will come. If this patient category has been changed, say 5 times, so all the 5 rows will be shown with due details. So what is more important here is the username here. Who has done this particular transaction also is displayed here. So it is a huge responsibility for the registration clerk who has access to temporary registration. So they have to do it very, very carefully. Then the other icon that will be there while doing the temporary, renewal or change of category is the patient summary, the patient information. If you click on this icon, it will show the details of the patient, like when the registration was done, the father or spouse name, address, date of birth, and those details will be shown here. So these are only for viewing and confirmation before you go ahead with the change or renewal of the category. Now, let us discuss how you can change the category and what if you change the category to an invalid beneficiary. So after entering the CR number, you have to basically click on the change patient category and then enter the CR number. Then it will show the patient information. And after that, if you want to change that, say you have identified a patient who is not valid as on date, or somebody has taken a CR, temporary CR number, but at a later date you have realized that it is not a valid thing, then you can go and disable this category, this patient card, so that he will not take further more transactions from the hospital. So you can change any category to any category. You can select it here and then you can indicate reasons and go ahead. If you choose a invalid beneficiary category here, it means that CR number gets disabled immediately with immediate effect. So after that, you click on the save button. Now these are some information available here, like all the categories like in under temporary registration except outsider is valid for only 30 days. Whereas in case of outsiders, it is valid for only 7 days. Why we have given only 7 days is that a patient can come for a registration under outsider and he will pay the necessary fees and takes the consultation. And if he comes back again for a review, normally for review, we don't charge. So that's why during 7 days, he can come back for review for consultation, and accordingly they can take the free consultation there for a review. And we are showing in the OPD doctor days, whoever is an outsider, we are showing it is with a blue band here. So The patient listing itself will have a color code, a different color code, so that doctor can easily identify that this patient belongs to an outsider category. So accordingly, they can take a call whether this patient has come for review, whether he has come for a fresh register, for a different department than the other department that he had already visited, previously visited. So those kind of confirmations can be made here. So apart from that, like we also have a emergency registration page. So in casualty, patients can directly go there. In whatever existing form is there you can directly do any registration. It can be a temporary registration or it can be patient change category, whatever it is. So in the existing form itself, they can do it. So that's all in this. I think we have fairly covered all the points. So